minutes into play after going down in need of treatment after a promising start and was replaced by Alejandro Garnacho. As for an update, Reseda said he was crying at half-time, really devastated for him. Moving on, and Tottenham head coach Roberto De Zerbi believes his side can win all 5 of their remaining games to stay in the Premier League. Spurs suffered stoppage time heartbreaks, draw 2-2 at home to Brighton to keep them in the bottom 3 on Saturday. Jorginho Rutter's 95th minute leveller denied Spurs a first league win of 2026, as well as a first victory for De Zerbi. However, despite a daunting running that includes trips to London rivals Chelsea and Champions League chasing Aston Villa, the Italian feels his side can string together 5 consecutive wins to preserve their ever-present Premier League status. Of course, it's another big day of Premier League action today. We have 3 games at 2 o'clock, being Villa, Sunderland, Everton against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby, and Forest against Burnley. Before the big one, Manchester City against Arsenal at 4:30. There's also Scottish Cup semi-final action as Celtic take on St Mirren in the repeat of the League Cup final last year. While Ipswich can go second in the Championship by beating fellow promotion hopefuls Middlesbrough at 12 o'clock. Well, there are also 2 League One fixtures, Peterborough United against Burton and Port Vale against Wigan. Golf now, and England's Matt Fitzpatrick hit an impressive third on 68 to give himself a 3-shot lead over Scottish Scheffler going into the final round of the RBC Heritage in South Carolina. The former US Open champion started his round nervously with 2 bogeys in his first 2 holes. He was back on par by the 12th, while birdies on the 12th and 14th before a chipping eagle on the 15th gave him a 68 for the day. Despite his healthy lead, Fitzpatrick will be looking over his shoulder at Woden with Scheffler for his sensational 7 under par 64, which featured 8 birdies. Finally to basketball, and the LA Lakers shrugged off their injury worries to make a winning start to the NBA playoffs. The 18-time champions without key players Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves and Maxi Kleber, but 41-year-old LeBron James produced another fine display in a 107-98 win over Houston. James controlled the floor, racking up 19 points, 13 assists and 8 rebounds against the Houston side who lost key man Kevin Durant to injury just before the play started. Cleveland Cavaliers, Denver Nuggets and New York Knicks were the other winners on day 1 of the playoffs, while the Phoenix Suns and Orlando Magic won the play-in tournament to book their places. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines. I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and Chelsea boss Liam Rosenior says Esteval cried in the dressing room after he revealed the teenage Brazilian was substituted for a hamstring injury during Saturday night's 1-0 defeat to Manchester United. The forward was withdrawn 16 minutes into play after going down in need of treatment after a promising start and was replaced by Alejandro Garnacho. As for an update, Reseda said he was crying at half-time, really devastated for him. Moving on, and Tottenham head coach Roberto De Zerbi believes his side can win all 5 of their remaining games to stay in the Premier League. Spurs suffered stoppage time heartbreaks, draw 2-2 at home to Brighton to keep them in the bottom 3 on Saturday. Jorginho Rutter's 95th minute leveller denied Spurs a first league win of 2026, as well as a first victory for De Zerbi. However, despite a daunting running that includes trips to London rivals Chelsea and Champions League chasing Aston Villa, the Italian feels his side can string together 5 consecutive wins to preserve their ever-present Premier League status. Of course, it's another big day of Premier League action today. We have 3 games at 2 o'clock, being Villa, Sunderland, Everton against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby, and Forest against Burnley. Before the big one, Manchester City against Arsenal at 4:30. There's also Scottish Cup semi-final action as Celtic take on St Mirren in the repeat of the League Cup final last year. While Ipswich can go second in the Championship by beating fellow promotion hopefuls Middlesbrough at 12 o'clock. Well, there are also 2 League One fixtures, Peterborough United against Burton and Port Vale against Wigan. Golf now, and England's Matt Fitzpatrick hit an impressive third on 68 to give himself a 3-shot lead over Scottish Scheffler going into the final round of the RBC Heritage in South Carolina. The former US Open champion started his round nervously with 2 bogeys in his first 2 holes. He was back on par by the 12th, while birdies on the 12th and 14th before a chipping eagle on the 15th gave him a 68 for the day. Despite his healthy lead, Fitzpatrick will be looking over his shoulder at Woden with Scheffler for his sensational 7 under par 64, which featured 8 birdies. Finally to basketball, and the LA Lakers shrugged off their injury worries to make a winning start to the NBA playoffs. The 18-time champions without key players Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves and Maxi Kleber, but 41-year-old LeBron James produced another fine display in a 107-98 win over Houston. James controlled the floor, racking up 19 points, 13 assists and 8 rebounds against the Houston side who lost key man Kevin Durant to injury just before the play started. Cleveland Cavaliers, Denver Nuggets and New York Knicks were the other winners on day one of the playoffs, while the Phoenix Suns and Orlando Magic won the play-in tournament to book their places. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines. I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and Chelsea boss Liam Rosenior says Esteval cried in the dressing room after he revealed the teenage Brazilian was substituted for a hamstring injury during Saturday night's 1-0 defeat to Manchester United. The forward was withdrawn 16 minutes into play after going down in need of treatment after a promising start and was replaced by Alejandro Garnacho. As for an update, Rosenior said he was crying at half-time, really devastated for him. Moving on, and Tottenham head coach Roberto De Zerbi believes his side can win all 5 of their remaining games to stay in the Premier League. Spurs suffered stoppage time heartbreaks, draw 2-2 at home to Brighton to keep them in the bottom 3 on Saturday. Jorginho Rutter's 95th minute leveller denied Spurs a first league win of 2026, as well as a first victory for De Zerbi. However, despite a daunting running that includes trips to London rivals Chelsea and Champions League chasing Aston Villa, the Italian feels his side can string together 5 consecutive wins to preserve their ever-present Premier League status. Of course, it's another big day of Premier League action today. We have 3 games at 2 o'clock, being Villa, Sunderland, Everton against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby, and Forest against Burnley, before the big one, Manchester City against Arsenal at 4:30. There's also Scottish Cup semi-final action as Celtic take on St Mirren in the repeat of the League Cup final last year, while Ipswich can go second in the Championship by beating fellow promotion hopefuls Middlesbrough at 12 o'clock. Well, there are also 2 League One fixtures, Peterborough United against Burton and Port Vale against Wigan. Golf now, and England's Matt Fitzpatrick hit an impressive third on 68 to give himself a 3-shot lead over Scottish Scheffler going into the final round of the RBC Heritage in South Carolina. The former US Open champion started his round nervously with 2 bogeys in his first 2 holes. He was back on par by the 12th, while birdies on the 12th and 14th before a chipping eagle on the 15th gave him a 68 for the day. Despite his healthy lead, Fitzpatrick will be looking over his shoulder at Wilden with Scheffler following his sensational 7 under par 64, which featured 8 birdies. Finally, to basketball, and the LA Lakers shrugged off their injury worries to make a winning start to the NBA playoffs. The 18-time champions without key players Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves and Maxi Kleber, but 41-year-old LeBron James produced another fine display in a 107-98 win over Houston. James controlled the floor, racking up 19 points, 13 assists and 8 rebounds against the Houston side who lost key man Kevin Durant to injury just before the play started. Cleveland Cavaliers, Denver Nuggets and New York Knicks were the other winners on day one of the playoffs, while the Phoenix Suns and Orlando Magic won the play-in tournament to book their places. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines. I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and Chelsea boss Liam Rosenior says Esteval cried in the dressing room after he revealed the teenage Brazilian was substituted for a hamstring injury during Saturday night's 1-0 defeat to Manchester United. The forward was withdrawn 16 minutes into play after going down in need of treatment after a promising start and was replaced by Alejandro Garnacho. As for an update, Rosenior said he was crying at half-time, really devastated for him. Moving on, and Tottenham head coach Roberto De Zerbi believes his side can win all 5 of their remaining games to stay in the Premier League. Spurs suffered stoppage time heartbreaks, draw 2-2 at home to Brighton to keep them in the bottom 3 on Saturday. Jorginho Rutter's 95th minute leveller denied Spurs a first league win of 2026, as well as a first victory for De Zerbi. However, despite a daunting running that includes trips to London rivals Chelsea and Champions League chasing Aston Villa, the Italian feels his side can string together 5 consecutive wins to preserve their ever-present Premier League status. Of course, it's another big day of Premier League action today. We have 3 games at 2 o'clock, being Villa, Sunderland, Everton against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby, and Forest against Burnley, before the big one, Manchester City against Arsenal at 4:30. There's also Scottish Cup semi-final action as Celtic take on St Mirren in the repeat of the League Cup final last year, while Ipswich can go second in the Championship by beating fellow promotion hopefuls Middlesbrough at 12 o'clock. Well, there are also 2 League One fixtures, Peterborough United against Burton and Port Vale against Wigan. Golf now, and England's Matt Fitzpatrick hit an impressive third on 68 to give himself a 3-shot lead over Scottish Scheffler going into the final round of the RBC Heritage in South Carolina. The former US Open champion started his round nervously with 2 bogeys in his first 2 holes. He was back on par by the 12th, while birdies on the 12th and 14th before a chipping eagle on the 15th gave him a 68 for the day. Despite his healthy lead, Fitzpatrick will be looking over his shoulder at Wilden with Scheffler following his sensational 7 under par 64, which featured 8 birdies. Finally to basketball, and the LA Lakers shrugged off their injury worries to make a winning start to the NBA playoffs. The 18-time champions without key players Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves and Maxi Kleber, but 41-year-old LeBron James produced another fine display in a 107-98 win over Houston. James controlled the floor, racking up 19 points, 13 assists and 8 rebounds against the Houston side who lost key man Kevin Durant to injury just before the play started. Cleveland Cavaliers, Denver Nuggets and New York Knicks were the other winners on day one of the playoffs, while the Phoenix Suns and Orlando Magic won the play-in tournament to book their places. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines. I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and Chelsea boss Liam Rosenior says Esteval cried in the dressing room after he revealed the teenage Brazilian was substituted for a hamstring injury during Saturday night's 1-0 defeat to Manchester United. The forward was withdrawn 16 minutes into play after going down in need of treatment after a promising start and was replaced by Alejandro Garnacho. As for an update, Rosenior said he was crying at half-time, really devastated for him. Moving on, and Tottenham head coach Roberto De Zerbi believes his side can win all 5 of their remaining games to stay in the Premier League. Spurs suffered stoppage time heartbreaks, draw 2-2 at home to Brighton to keep them in the bottom 3 on Saturday. Jorginho Rutter's 95th minute leveller denied Spurs a first league win of 2026, as well as a first victory for De Zerbi. However, despite a daunting running that includes trips to London rivals Chelsea and Champions League chasing Aston Villa, the Italian feels his side can string together 5 consecutive wins to preserve their ever-present Premier League status. Of course, it's another big day of Premier League action today. We have 3 games at 2 o'clock, being Villa, Sunderland, Everton against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby, and Forest against Burnley. Before the big one, Manchester City against Arsenal at 4:30. There's also Scottish Cup semi-final action as Celtic take on St Mirren in the repeat of the League Cup final last year, while Ipswich can go second in the Championship by beating fellow promotion hopefuls Middlesbrough at 12 o'clock. Well, there are also 2 League One fixtures, Peterborough United against Burton and Port Vale against Wigan. Golf now, and England's Matt Fitzpatrick hit an impressive third on 68 to give himself a 3-shot lead over Scottish Scheffler going into the final round of the RBC Heritage in South Carolina. The former US Open champion started his round nervously with 2 bogeys in his first 2 holes. He was back on par by the 12th, while birdies on the 12th and 14th before a chipping eagle on the 15th gave him a 68 for the day. Despite his healthy lead, Fitzpatrick will be looking over his shoulder at Wilden Wood Scheffler for his sensational 7 under par 64, which featured 8 birdies. Finally to basketball, and the LA Lakers shrugged off their injury worries to make a winning start to the NBA playoffs. The 18-time champions without key players Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves and Maxi Kleber, but 41-year-old LeBron James produced another fine display in a 107-98 win over Houston. James controlled the floor, racking up 19 points, 13 assists and 8 rebounds against the Houston side who lost key man Kevin Durant to injury just before the play started. Cleveland Cavaliers, Denver Nuggets and New York Knicks were the other winners on day one of the playoffs, while the Phoenix Suns and Orlando Magic won the play-in tournament to book their places. That's all for now, we'll have more later. These are your latest sports headlines. I'm Jack Ogleby. We start with football, and Chelsea boss Liam Rosenior says Esteval cried in the dressing room after he revealed the teenage Brazilian was substituted for a hamstring injury during Saturday night's 1-0 defeat to Manchester United. The forward was withdrawn 16 minutes into play after going down in need of treatment after a promising start and was replaced by Alejandro Garnacho. As for an update, Rosenior said he was crying at half-time, really devastated for him. Moving on, and Tottenham head coach Roberto De Zerbi believes his side can win all 5 of their remaining games to stay in the Premier League. Spurs suffered stoppage time heartbreaks, draw 2-2 at home to Brighton to keep them in the bottom 3 on Saturday. Jorginho Rutter's 95th minute leveller denied Spurs a first league win of 2026, as well as a first victory for De Zerbi. However, despite a daunting running that includes trips to London rivals Chelsea and Champions League
starts as Scott Parker makes one change for their trip to the City Ground. Bashir Humphries drops to the bench while James Ward-Prowse returns to Forest and played 10 games on loan last season.
We're going to leave that just about there then. It's a very warm welcome along the Independent Off-Tube studio commentary of the game between Nottingham Forest and Burnley at a very sunny, yet a bit blustery City Ground by the looks of it. Forest, of course, beating Porto in the week to reach the semi-finals of the Europa League, where they'll play Aston Villa. Burnley, they've had a bit of a rough time recently, only picked up 2 points from the last 21 available. and could be 12 points. The Drifters safety, only 5 games to go after this one. I'm Jack Ogleby, joined by Kieran Graham for, well, I don't think we're expecting fireworks, but I think we're expecting a Forest win.
Yeah, well, Forest have to win, don't they? That is for certain, and that adds a lot of pressure, and maybe that pressure can show in this game. Burnley all but set to go down, not too much really to play for in this one, apart from maybe to just make life a bit harder for Nottingham Forest. Like you said, Forest coming off the back of a really important victory against Porto, which sets up an all-English Europa League semi-final clash with Aston Villa. 2 legs I'm thoroughly looking forward to. But yeah, like we said, Nottingham Forest, what an opportunity today. Spurs dropping points again yesterday. Leeds picking up another victory. Feels like the Yorkshire are just drifting away from that pack at the moment. 8 points clear of Spurs, as Dylan Bakwa has just been wiped out in the opening minute of this one. Big game for him today. Starting, we've not seen too many starts of him in the Premier League as of late, but he's just been given a bit of a knock from Hartman, and he stays down receiving a little bit of treatment. But a really, really big game today. I guess some positives for Nottingham Forest is Murillo and Chris Wood went off injured on Thursday. Both of them start today. Yeah,
both big players. You mentioned Bakwa makes his first Premier League start since January. Running through the side, Elliot Anderson is back, as is Matt Sells and Nikola Milenkovic. So it's Sells in goal. The usual 4-2-3-1. Aina, Murillo and Milenkovic and Williams across the back. Sangari and Anderson hold the midfield. Hutchinson, Gibbs, White and Bakwa behind Wood. Cal Walker comes in for Burnley. Just one change for them. Bashir Humphreys dropping to the bench. Also interested that James Ward-Prowse is playing. He has kind of done the rounds on loan. He played 10 games at Forest for them last season. They're Dubravka in goal. The same 4-2-3-1. Walker, Ekdal, Estevra and Hartman across the back. It's Ward-Prowse, pardon me, in the middle of the pack. Aston Villa have taken an early lead against Sunderland. Ward-Prowse, Florentino in midfield. Edwards, Ugachukwu, Anthony behind Fleming. And must win for Burnley, really. But we've been saying that quite a lot this season. They've not really produced. I saw them quite recently in a goalless draw against Bournemouth, and it's nice to a degree, but you just don't quite fancy them to score. It's Ollie Watkins who has scored for Villa. Yeah, Nottingham Forest have a similar problem, I think, as well. Maybe don't score enough goals, but it's one of those things where they're now unbeaten in their last 6. That back to the 1-0 defeat to Midtjylland in the Europa League. But grinding out results, not a bad thing when you consider they're playing in 2 competitions.
Yeah, exactly, and that's all they have to do. It's about grinding out results. For Vitor Pereira, the job for him, or the job that the owners will have set out for him, isn't play flashy football, impress the fans, excite the fans with the football that you're playing. It's get the job done, get the results. It's so important for Nottingham Forest, and if they can stay in Europe while doing so, I mean, that's a bonus. Imagine they went on to win the Europa League and stay in the Premier League. It'd go down as one of the best seasons, if not the best season of all of these fans' lives.
Yeah, well, I think it was always going to be difficult, wasn't it? Of course, we went close to Champions League qualification last term and just burned out a bit in the final 10 or so games of the season. It was always going to be difficult, and that's without 3 managerial changes and reported unrest at boardroom level and all those kind of things. Same for Burnley, who are in the Burnley paradox, aren't they? They're probably going to go back up, maybe with Scott Parker in charge. There's not many better managers at doing that from the Championship. Yet you're not quite sure when they are going to, when things are going to level out and they are going to settle back into being a more regular Premier League outfit, as they were under now former Forest boss Sean Dyche back in the day. We'll keep to date with scores elsewhere. Ipswich and Middlesbrough drew 2-2 in the early game. That was in the Championship. Burton 1-0 up at Peterborough. There's also another League One fixture between Port Vale and Wigan. We've also got goalless between Everton and Liverpool. So one of 3 2 o'clock kickoffs, 4:30 of course. Manchester City against Arsenal. First corner kick of the game. It's Burnley 1. It's in by Ward-Prowse. It's away by Milenkovic. It's half fielded by Florentino, but not quite. And then the Brazilian comes back and makes a good challenge actually on Hutchinson. It was one of those where I think a good result for both sides really. Forest getting the throw And clean challenge by Fiorentino, who is an interesting player. Really, really good for Benfica when I saw him. I thought a few times he's not quite done as much as maybe he could have done for Burnley, but at the same time, you're playing a struggling side. He might be struggling with confidence. Obviously, a total change of life going from Lisbon to Burnley. That's not being disrespectful. It's just the fact that changing countries, new life, new language, all those kind of things. And maybe he might be one who moves on in the summer. But we'll see, as Gibbs White is well dealt with by Florentino there. Ward-Prowse then fires it into Anthony, who goes backwards, and Hartman just loops it forward. Awkward one for Murillo, but eventually just nods it back to Matt Sells. And it's very much two sides feeling each other out at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a slow opening 6 minutes in this one. It hasn't necessarily been the dominant start that I expected from Nottingham Forest. They've seen quite a lot of the ball, but they haven't done anything progressive with it. It's been a lot of sideways passes, a lot of interceptions from Burnley, then clearing their lines. Yeah, I kind of echo the thoughts of Florentino. I really liked him at Benfica. When I'd see him in the Champions League, I'd always be impressed. I wasn't surprised he got a Premier League move. I'll break off. Here come Forest.
Yeah, it's Nico Williams down the left-hand side, goes past his man into the box. He goes down somewhat easily. I think Burnley make a bit of a mess of it, and it will be a first Forest corner kick of the game. The challenge coming in really from a combination of Kyle Walker and Edwards. Edwards got himself in a good position, and Williams was leaving a leg behind to be fouled. He kind of went down his own steam, and I think probably a corner kick to Forest is about a net draw. Both sides will take it, and instantly it will be Williams to take the corner. Plenty of bodies in and around the Burnley 6 yards area, and it's looped towards back post. Milinkovic has one bounce, and Fleming just uses his body well, the Dutchman, and sees it out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's good strong play from Zian Fleming. He's really physical. He's another one who's he's done okay this season with the goals that he's scored. There's not too much expected of him. Once again, he's not getting a lot of service. The actual output that he's given in the Premier League this season, you can only credit him. He's probably a player that stays with Burnley when they go down, which he can take this season for confidence. I think one of few players who can really say that I think the output he can be happy with.
Yeah, he got 8 goals in the Premier League this season. He got 12 last term. One of those players that he's got 8 goals this season. You probably double that back in the Championship next term. He has shown a lot of improvement, I think, when I've seen really adapted his game. It's Thomas Kirk who's the referee. Incidentally, first time I've seen the official from Yorkshire. He has been doing the circuit all the season. If you look at his stats, and well, I don't think he'll be too busy. He did previously Burnley's 1-0 defeat to Crystal Palace. The reverse game was a 1-1 draw earlier in the campaign, as Kyle Walker's ball back to Dubravka. Almost caught the Slovakian out, but did well to clear his lines. Away by Sangare. Milinkovic can step out of defence. Sangare will drop back in, but he'll find the safety ball, the serve, in Elliot Anderson's feet. Now Murillo back to Matt Sells. Burnley not exactly willing to push up. There's a bit of willingness from Chokwu, and he actually made Murillo rush, and it was a poor pass by them. So Anthony has it on the left-hand side. Burnley changed it. Sky blue strip this evening with white socks, this afternoon rather. Forest, as you'd expect, red shirts, white shorts, red socks. Burnley are exchanging passes but going backwards as they do. And it's back to Esteve, and now Ekdal into Edwards, because Kyle Walker had tucked one in. And Burnley 2-0 losers against Brighton last time out. Last time away from home, they were 3-1 losers at Fulham, and yeah, things just haven't quite got going, have they? Once again, back in the Championship last term. Interesting to see what happens with Scott Parker. Elliot Anderson tries a little reverse ball, too strong though, through to Dubravka, who bowls it out to Anthony. He's left to right, and now Walker. And I was going to say carry it forward, but inevitably checks and gives it to Chokwu. Ekdal thinks it forward. Anthony plays it round the back of Murillo. They have a bit of a wrestle. Edwards keeps it in. Everyone looks at the assistant. Vito Pereira thinks it should have been a throw. It wasn't. Ekdal will boot it clear to Williams. Now Sangare just inside the Burnley half. Forrest going right to left as I look at it. Aina has it now. He'll work it wide to backward. Aina, lovely left-footed ball, just slotted his foot underneath it and backward. I think that was just a symptom of being a left footer on the right hand side there. He just didn't look confident or comfortable trying to bring the ball down and almost didn't offer anything. It went out for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's a little bit overhit from Olorena in the right idea though. Trying to be a little bit more forward thinking now at Nottingham Forest. They've seen a lot of the ball. It's about turning it into creating chances. They are at home to Burnley. These are the games where they'll have pinpointed you have to win this game. Like I said, that adds that bit of pressure as well, which maybe Burnley can play onto their advantage as Dubravka slices a clearance that's going to go all the way out of play. Not convincing at the back from Burnley there, but yeah, just got to turn this into creating chances now, the Forest.
Yeah, they're certainly enjoying the better the possession of 68% on the number I've got. But you look at Forest remaining fixtures, and things are complicated by those two legs against Aston Villa. First on April 30th, then a week later on May the 7th. But Sunderland in their next game, that's on Friday night. That's away from home, an awkward one. Then who knows what you're going to get from Chelsea at the moment. They're at the Bridge on May the 4th. Also got to play Newcastle, Manchester United and Bournemouth. So chances to get points there, but you don't want to get either sidetracked by the Europa League or just lose your form at the wrong time. Look at Burnley's remaining games. You've got Man City on Wednesday night. City may make changes with an eye on the FA Cup, but things also might be defined by how they get on at the Etihad against Arsenal in our 4:30 game. Leeds away, Aston Villa at home, Wolves away on the final day of the season after visiting Arsenal. You look at the restrictions, if you plan to play Wolves on the final day of the season, you plan your season pretty well, haven't you? But it's going to be too little too late, you feel. As Nico Williams emerges with the ball for straight between Ugachukwu and Elliot Anderson. Work wide to backward, makes his way into the box, shows way too much to Hartman. He just kind of stood there. He knew that Bakker was going to try and take him on the outside because he has a good bit of play by the man covering him on the inside, Hartman. And he just took it off Bakker's toes, but Burnley in no real mood to knock it forward at the moment. Eventually it's right across their 18-yard box. Ekdal will go back to Dubravka. Now to Esteve. Left-footed centre-half brings it forward. Allowed to as well. Forest happy to fall back into their shape in their own half. Still that Ollie Watkins goal for Aston Villa. It's Sunderland all we've got so far in the 2 o'clock kickoffs. Goalless here, goalless in the game between Everton and Liverpool 2. Monday night action to remind you about as well. Palace against West Ham. I imagine Nuno Espirito Santo will have half an eye on this game. May have allowed himself a little punch of the air after Richards' equaliser late on for Brighton at Spurs yesterday. That meant Spurs remain in the bottom 3. Forest can go 5 points clear of the relegation places with a victory in this game. Hutchinson, Milinkovic, now Sangare. He missed control, but almost worked out because he meant he could turn in midfield. And well, it didn't work out, but Burnley just cannot get out at the moment. They just, it's too deliberate, too ponderous in my view, as Anderson is half dealt with by Walker. Gets the ball away. Sangare has got a man wide on the right hand side. Olorena as well, but Forest knocking the ball around. Pretty comfortable. A tackle does come in eventually from Walker, the Burnley skip. It'll be a throw to Forest, around about 30 yards from the Burnley goal. But it's noticeable, isn't it? Whether it's because Ugachukwu and Fleming are too deep, or I don't know. Burnley cannot get out of their own way at the moment.
No, they can't. It's been a really poor start from them. I don't think Nottingham Forest look particularly great, do they? They look a little bit lost when they get to the final third, struggling to get Chris Wood involved in this game. That's quite a big thing. You'd think when the big man's finally back playing, maybe get a couple of balls into the penalty. I think one of the better players at doing that for Forest, Callum Hudson-Odoi, not available today. He went off with an injury on Thursday. I don't believe I'm not too sure how long he's out for. But yeah, Chris Wood, of course, a former Burnley man himself, not getting involved. But yeah, Burnley been really poor. Yes, Sam Fleming's had a couple of decent moments, but it feels like at times he's up there on his own. We're not seeing anything of Jaden Anthony or Marcus Edwards either.
Yeah, on reflection, that might be Burnley's method today. Try and sit deep so that Forest can't go back to front looking for Wood, and he can get his elbows out and he's really make life difficult for the two central defenders. Because yeah, I'd almost forgotten about him. That's the overrun by Murillo. Choco's gone down under that challenge. The play goes on. I thought, yes, he overstretched Murillo, but then he won the ball. Then Wood is tackled well by Fiorentino. Eventually breaks to Nico Williams, who Cruyff turns away from Edwards, but right foot play on the left-hand side. Natural to cut back, he does. And Anderson and Sangari play a nice little 1-2 in the middle of the park. Anderson threads it through to Gibbs-White. Another one who's been really quiet in this game. Burnley come away with it. Nick Dowell in a pretty advanced position, the centre-half, in front of his fellow defenders, and it's a foul on Jan Fleming. Ward-Prowse takes over it in the centre circle, but no real pattern to the game thus far. Sangari makes a real difference to his Forest team when available. Hasn't been able to go in those good runs he does where he just goes past a player and suddenly they move 10 yards further up the field. And Burnley they go straight back to the goalkeeper from the free kick. They've lost themselves 40 yards, 60 if they'd gone long with that free kick, and Forest had the ball again.
So poor. There's just no real idea. It's interesting. They started the season okay, didn't they? A little bit better than what we expected for Burnley. I remember covering them at home to Liverpool very near the start of the season. I thought they were great, but they were had done by for a penalty later. I'd say had done by. It was a mistake from Hannibal Mejri, wasn't it? But in the sense of 95th minute, I believe it was. So unfortunate. They just haven't really been able to pick on all season, or kick on, should I say, from that start to the season. In possession today, looking really, really poor. But like I said, we're 18 minutes into this one. Forest, they've not come close either.
No, yeah, that's the game. I was going to pinpoint actually when we thought Liverpool were going to win the league because they're winning games in that style, and Burnley were going to be all right because they were managing to, at least match teams, and you think the points were going to follow, but no. Yet to have a shot from either side. They've had a corner each. Both around about 80% in their pass success ratings rather. 0.00 expected goals at the moment. I don't really understand that stat, but I understand what that number means.
Sadly, I expected that.
Yeah.
18 minutes in.
As Murillo's long clearance isn't the best, and straight out. Forest have had 4 touches in the Burnley box. Haven't made anything of it. Yeah, a lot of zeros on the stats at the moment. Peterborough have equalised at home to Burton. Burton 1-1 up at half time through Webster, but Harry Leonard's got them back for the Posh. They're 1-all. So yeah, drama at Portman Road. Jack Clark's late penalty, having a draw for Ipswich, 2-all against Middlesbrough. And it remains tight at the top in the Championship. Nice touch by Anthony to go past Aina, but the ball straight to Murillo. He goes long. It's tackled by Hartman on backward. And Harry sweeping up now. Aina, the outside of his right boot. His radar is off, but so is Burt. Oh no. Say Elliot Anderson just trying to play the same ball that didn't work out for Oloaina there with the outside of his right boot, and it's behind Mario Hutchinson, who had made a foray forward. Both managers, we can see, got a good wide angle. Both managers, hands in pockets, prowling away. Vitor Pereira's in his tracksuit. Scott Parker, smart as he always is. Grey jumper, white shirt. Gibbs-White trying to win it in the middle of the park. He thinks he's fouled, he's not. No, Edwards, advantage there for Burnley, but Edwards and Fleming couldn't work it out between themselves. Nico Williams floats it towards Baku on the far side. His touch is poor. Stev steps in and Jaden Anthony tries to bring it away. Oh, well, I say that he goes backwards. Then he does go forwards, but he shows way too much of it to O'Reina. And it's like a training game at the moment, actually. I have to say, both sides, when they don't have the ball, are falling right behind it like you would if you were playing basketball. And yeah, it needs a Forest goal, basically. Let's think of what I'm saying.
Yeah, it also looks like we're watching two sides who might be in the Championship next season who are just a little bit deflated in terms of their Premier League form this season. Yes, we were talking about Forest. They're starting to grind out results a little bit more. They don't look pretty on the eye today, do they? They look like they're really struggling. I think they're missing Hudson-Odoi in this one. Someone just picks up the ball and takes on a man, drives it a man. Chris Wood's now applying pressure.
Yeah, Wood. I thought he nudged Ekdal there, but he plays it towards Bakru, loses footing. Yeah, no Dan Doyle today. Who's another player I always quite like watching. Him on the right-hand side. I just enjoy watching him because he gets the ball out his feet and goes past his man. It's not something you see too often, whereas Hudson-Odoi's got this lovely movement and can go both ways. And neither Harry Hutchinson, who looks a bit lost playing on the left today, nor Bakwa, just looks like he's lost his boots. He's lost his foot on a couple of occasions so far, have caused any sort of threat. Hartman whips it forward. It's good covering by Milenkovic. It's towards Chokwu, but yeah, it's two teams who don't necessarily want the ball at the moment, isn't it? And they're happy to let the other one have it, and it's resulted in a bit of a stalemate. Sunderland have equalised at Villa Park. Chris Rigg, the goal scorer, so 1-1 between those two teams. Still goals as well between Everton and Liverpool. And a reminder, the 4:30 kick-off, Manchester City against Arsenal, available on this service as Estev goes back to Dubravka. Wide to Estev again. Now Edwards is going to try his luck a bit more centrally. Gives it to Anthony. Play it back to Florentino, who gives it toward Prowse, who looks to open the play. The ball left to right. It's controlled by Chokwu, trying his luck on the right hand side. Now Kyle Walker's there, but he's going away from the play as he gets possession. Edwards rides one challenge from Nico Williams. He's fouled by Elliot Anderson. This could be something interesting. Free kick 30 yards out for Burnley. It might be Edwards' territory. This is just the right of centre. Suits a left footer nicely. We are into the second quarter of the game, and Kieran can talk us through this one and the rest of the half.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jack. I've seen this free kick, and finally Burnley can have a breather while being in Nottingham Forest half. They can maybe try and conjure up an attacking opportunity, shooting towards the end of the travelling supporters as well. So we just see Kyle Walker, Fleming and Ward-Prowse stood over it. Well, I don't know how long it's been since we've seen a Ward-Prowse free kick goal, but if there's ever a player you want over a free kick from distance, it probably is him. I wonder whether it's a little bit too wide and a bit too far out to go for goal, but we have seen it happen before where players catch out goalkeepers at that near post. Maybe Ward-Prowse is able to do so on this occasion, as the likes of Florentino, Esteve, Ekdal, they're all in there, and Ward-Prowse is the man over this. It takes something special for him to go for goal and score from this range. It very much is a crossing position, but let's see, he takes a run up.
It's got a lot of space to move aim at. There's only one man wall, and Sells is very much towards his side, and almost anticipated he was going to go that side, where it looked like one of those where he was going to go to the wall side and the keeper was going to watch it go into the top corner. It was almost set up. We've seen those ones before, but it's almost being too clever, I think, there, Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, almost caught the goalkeeper out in that sense. Sells makes the save. There's a long ball, bouncing ball that Sells jumps up for, and in the end he claims it once again. So 25 minutes on the clock, it is still 0-0. We're just seeing that again from Ward-Prowse. I don't think he's going for goal there, trying to bounce it into that far bottom corner. It bounces right in front of the goalkeeper, which I think Sells deals with it pretty well, actually. It's not an easy one, is that at all. As you see Hutchinson, does he keep it in play? Yes, he does. He finds Nico Williams, who's going to drive forwards. Hutchinson stays down. Nico Williams being one of very few players that I think has been really good as of late, and all season really, for Nottingham Forest. As we now see Gibbs White, ball down the line, is well intercepted by Ekdal, who's kind of just following Gibbs White around a little bit at times, which is always a risky game. A centre-half stepping out to deal with a number 10. I think Gibbs White could definitely exploit that, maybe pull him out a little bit, allow players to exploit that space a bit more, because they've got to get creative, do Nottingham Forest, at some point in this game. This is a massive opportunity for them to play on the fact that Spurs dropped points yesterday. West Ham, of course, playing away from home tomorrow in what isn't an easy game against Crystal Palace away from home. So what a chance for Forest today, but just yet to get going and give that inspiration to the fans that makes them to believe they can get the 3 points. But like I said, they have to start being more creative.
Yes, I watched the Championship game between Blackburn and Coventry on Friday night, and it was all about Coventry going up, but Blackburn were ahead, and a draw put them 5 points clear of the bottom 3. And it is a bit like, I think, for other sports like rugby, if you get a converted score ahead of the other team, you've almost got a free 5 minutes there, because you've got that cushion. If Forest win today, it's 5 points clear, and that's almost a weekend off. Maybe the one they'll look to use to rotate between the two semi-finals. It gives them that extra breathing room, doesn't it? If you just further than a win away from the bottom 3, you just out of that bit of danger, and the onus is on them to go and get the result, isn't it? Because Burnley, their cards almost marked relegation-wise, and they don't look a very confident team, understandably so. Forest need the points so they can get that cushion and give themselves that breather with those semi-finals on the way.
Yeah, interesting. 2 of the 4 relegation battling sides in semi-finals coming up. I'd say Forest a little bit more disruptive than the Leeds one. The Leeds one is only the 1 game, and it is this weekend, whereas Forest is over 2 legs, and it is on a Thursday of course. Both games, as Everton have taken the lead in the Merseyside derby. It's Iliman Ndiaye, and it's probably been a long time where we've gone into a Merseyside derby quite confident that Everton will go and grab a result. Maybe that's simply for the fact of how poor that Liverpool have been doing, but Everton been doing great as well. But what a big goal in that one. VAR are taking a look at Iliman Ndiaye's goal, so we'll await confirmation. We will bring you updates if it gets ruled out. And I believe, Jack, the verdict is in.
Yeah, offside. There's a save by Mamadashvili from what I'm reading there, and O'Brien went down with the assist, so my guess is it was towards the back post. He nodded it back into the air, and Ndiaye was just the wrong side of the line as he prodded home. So still goalless in that game, goalless in ours as well. 1-1 between Aston Villa and Sunderland.
Now see Burnley back in possession as we approach the 28th minute of this one. It's going to be Florentino to bring it forwards. He tries to pick a pass through the centre. It's Paul Ugachuku who's then a little bit high into the challenge John Sangari, and it's stop-start again. It's just become very stop-start, hasn't it? As Liverpool may have just taken the lead straight after that. We'll wait confirmation of it, but Sangare is back to his feet now. Elliot Anderson goes towards the left-hand side for Nico Williams. He then turns away to find Murillo, and then plays it down to the right-hand side for Milenkovic. Liverpool have just taken the lead. Well, some wild moments in the Merseyside derby. A wild couple of minutes. I'm sure the fans are lapping up, but it looks like who else in his last Merseyside derby? Mo Salah with the goal.
Yeah, well, it used to be that you're never as vulnerable to conceding as when you just scored. Are you more vulnerable when you've had a goal ruled out by VAR now and you've stood around for 2 hours? But yeah, Mo Salah looks like he's put Liverpool ahead, but we'll confirm maybe in 5 minutes, because we're half waiting for the VAR icon to come up.
Which certainly does happen more often than not these days. Another foul from Burnley. This time it's a challenge from Sam Fleming on Hutchinson. Just a late one there. He's nowhere near really getting the ball, is he? Sam Fleming can't have too many complaints. He's had a couple of whacks so far, Hutchinson. It's been weird, the approach from Vitor Pereira. Having Backward on the right and Hutchinson on the left. Well, I think Backward's better on the left, and I think Hutchinson's better on the right. So he's obviously spotted something, but I'm not quite sure that's working so far.
Yeah, Hutchinson's certainly more comfortable on the right, cutting inside onto his left foot. Backwards not really got into the game at all so far. You do wonder, we have played just about half an hour. If they'll look to change things, that's a strange set piece, indirect free kick from just inside the Burnley half. They played it between three of them, and there were no Burnley players anywhere near a Forest one, and eventually the ball was slow and it was cleared by the first man on the edge of the Burnley box.
Yes, you can see a ball over the top, well headed away by Steb for a throw-in. Throw goes the way of Nottingham Forest, of course, ball in the hands of Olarena with 30 minutes in. And I have to say, in a respectful way, nothing has happened. Jack has to do a summary of 30 seconds of the first half at half-time. I believe there's nothing wrote down on your pen.
I've not written anything so far. I think the weather's nice. Good day for football. Unfortunately, the football hasn't been good so far. It's just been cagey between two sides who are desperate not to concede, so not looking to try and their utmost not to make those mistakes. We see the recent records between these two teams. Yes, Burnley were lucky maybe in that 4-3 defeat against Brentford, but that's a very rare occasion in which they've scored two or more. Forest, their tallies from the last few games have all been one goals. Yes, they won 3-0 at Tottenham and had that good result away at Midtjylland, yet they don't score very often. You do think that both managers might have thought the one goal is enough, similar to I think what happened with Leeds yesterday when they played Wolves, and like West Ham against Wolves on the Friday before, that once you get one goal you're not quite sure Wolves are going to be able to get two, and I think that's going to be the same approach for these two sides.
Yeah, it really is. That is their approach, especially for Nottingham Forest, but they don't look like scoring. This at the moment, as cliche and as obvious as it sounds, is the most 0-0 deserving game that I think I've ever watched. As you now see Chris Wood ball into Gibbs White, this is a little bit better. His ball in behind, really good opportunity to break away there. It's well defended in the end by Burnley to stop that pass going through towards Bakwa, who would have been through on goal. Gibbs White maybe a bit disappointed that he didn't pull off that pass.
Yes, that was the opportunity. Just opened up for him, a bit of luck, and you've got to take those ones, trying to thread it through, as Lorena is there too, but it's cut out by Ward-Prowse, then away by Esteve that Anthony can't control, and it's back to Milenkovic, and we reset really with Forest just trying to build something. In fact, it's Elliot Anderson is just dropping deep and trying to quarterback the side. That's a good pass to Gibbs White, right edge of the box. His cross doesn't find Chris Wood. Nico Williams, for me, runs into Florentino, but it's going to be a foul against the Brazilian. He doesn't complain too much from it, so maybe it may have been a bit deliberate than I thought. It's actually Ogachukwu who holds him back, and then Florentino does just turn his back into Williams, and a free kick pretty much in the same position where Ward-Prowse had his about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit more central, isn't it, where maybe a right footer is more suited. From this distance, who I think could maybe strike it well, he's maybe Murillo. He's not right-footed, he's left-footed of course, but he's there. We know the centre-half does have it in his locker. He's always going on these marauding runs, hitting them from distance, and I reckon he fancies this one as well. 33 and a half minutes in, we need something. Yeah,
he's placed the ball, and then Nico Williams has placed the ball now. Yeah, he's got the boom of Murillo's left foot over this. Williams is lined up as it would be a cross, whereas Murillo wants the shot, I think.
Yeah, Williams is going to hit it himself, and that is so underwhelming. Takes the deflection out for a corner. Well, I kind of wish Murillo hit that now.
Yeah, it was a cross that, well, it's forever the frustration of football fans, corners that don't beat the first man. That was a cross that went into the wall. Not great by Williams, and he was almost playing against himself there as the right footer, wasn't he? So it was always going to be difficult to get it over. But this is third corner of the game, second for Forest.
You see this corner ready to be whipped in swinging delivery. He's readied here. Going to be hung into the area towards the front post. Terrible delivery in the end from Bakwa. Really poor ball in as Olarena picks it back up. He's going to play it forwards on his left boot towards the left hand side. Chris Wood doesn't win his header. Kyle Walker does, and then he wins the second header. Does Walker. Jaden Anthony plays it back to him. Ekdal clears his lines. He goes down. Doesn't get the free kick. I think that was a case of he's tried to con the referee. He's cleared it away. Realised it's a terrible clearance. Gone down. Doesn't get it. It's Hutchinson on the left-hand side on the attack now. Against Kyle Walker, Nico Williams is then going to hang it in towards the back post for the head of Chris Ward. It was a difficult one in the end. He was always backpedaling, off balance, heads it just up and out of play for a goal kick. But the first time that Forest have really crossed the ball towards Chris Wood in open play.
Yeah, they put a bit more pace into play there, didn't they, with 10 minutes left of the half. It's whipped in by William. It's too strong, and Wood's in that awkward situation where I think he's trying to find a teammate, but he's thinking his momentum towards the advertising hoardings and the momentum of the ball. He's got to get a contact on it and try and loop it over the goalkeeper. It wasn't to be. Harry Hutchinson, good battling play by him, then dives, throws himself to the floor. And I was actually going to say, if this is the end of a goal, it'll be ruled out, because Hutchinson quite clearly handballed it on the ground as well.
Yeah, exactly that. And we've seen a couple of players being penalised for diving as of late. There was two in the Man United Leeds game. Couldn't your hand up, who were booked for diving. Aston Villa have retaken the lead against Sunderland, so it's 2-1 now in that one. And it's Ollie Watkins at it again. He's starting to find form, and always just that England squad always just felt like a little bit of a message towards Ollie Watkins from Thomas Tuchel. I always thought that no matter what, Ollie Watkins was going to go to the World Cup, and maybe that squad was just the reminder that he needs to get back into gear. And since then, he's been scoring goals again.
Yeah, he's been excellent, hasn't it? And yeah, in my opinion, he's the one behind Harry Kane, perhaps as well, because I think he's the one who's probably most suited to playing with Kane if they were to go two up top. Kane dropping off and Watkins and running behind. Of course, he scored the winner in the semi-final in the Euro 2024 and came on in the final as well, so he's got that tournament experience as well, and seems to be hitting form right on time, doesn't it? Nico Williams unfortunately won't be going to the World Cup after being part of the World side. The loss to Bosnia, couldn't convert his penalty. Chris Wood was in real danger of missing the World Cup, wasn't he, with that knee injury. He's mentioned that he's going to have to manage it, he reckons, for the rest of his career, but he's well, back fit and a good time for Forest, and probably an even better time for the Kiwis.
Yeah, I think it's, like I said, it's quite the bad injury that he's been nursing. It's been out for a long time. I think it's more of maybe a message on Igor Jesus' Premier League form that he can't start a game like this. Chris Wood only just come back, went off in the opening 17 minutes midweek. Igor Jesus only with the place on the bench, same with the 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year as well. He's just he is one of those players that what might have been, and he just can't stay fit, can it? It seems to be serious ones, which then turn into resulting you get little strains and things like that, because the strength isn't quite there, or you don't quite move how you used to, and those kind of things. So he's come back into the fold a bit more. But Igor Jesus, his stats are really good regarding holding the ball up, headers won, those kind of things. It's just the stat that counts, that he's just not converting his chances.
Yeah, it's interesting because he's scoring a lot in Europe. Igor Jesus. Every time I cover Nottingham Forest in Europe, I'm quite impressed with him. I see him in the Premier League. I think he's a different player. It's very strange as Fleming goes down under the challenge from Marilo. He's going to go all the way back towards Matt Sells. Matt Sells in possession. He's going to boot it forwards towards the centre man in terms of Chris Wood. He can't bring it down though in the end, and once again it's just going to bounce off him, and it's going to be booted long by Hartman. It's a great ball. What a touch. Looked like a great first touch from Fleming. It's really unfortunate that it kind of just ricochets away. I think Marilo may have just pulled his hamstring. Well, he went off injured on Thursday. If he's pulled his hamstring, Nottingham Forest are in real trouble. Well, his teammates quite clearly don't care. They're playing on down the right hand side, and we still see Olarena driving forwards. He plays it all the way back for Gibbs White, and Gibbs White then kicks the ball out. Now this is such a worry.
And it could be a bad weekend for Brazil, because we saw Leo Rossinha say that Esteban had to take him off in the first half of a hamstring injury, and the teenager's reaction suggests that World Cup trouble. And we see there, he pulls up. That's one of those.
Is that his season done?
Well, you don't know, but you predict. It's one of the way he did it. It's one of those that you actually hear it go. I think. I've never played in the Premier League, but I've heard my hamstring go, and it's you do hear it, and he just shakes his head, and Yeah, well, he put his hands together in fist, and then pulled them away and went bang. If you read his lips there, Jai Cunha is going to be the player introduced, and yes, the fellow Brazilian, an unscheduled introduction for Jai Cunha, who's had to wait for his chances. Seems to have overtaken Morato as the next one off the rank, if you like, as far as defenders. Yeah, Milenkovic doing the universal hand-over-hand substitution signal. Jai Cunha, 21 years old, 6'6". A bit short at the back of Brazil, so maybe a few good games now. Might see a bit of a like for like, but yeah, it's this time of the season, it's quite sad, isn't it? When we've all got it in our minds now. It's not, oh, well, at least I'll have the summer off. It's like, oh no, at least I'll have the summer off.
Yeah, exactly that. And Jai Cunha is an interesting one. It's taken a long time for him to play. The Forest fans love him. When he's been playing over the last month and a half, 2 months, all I have seen is that this kid should be playing way more. The Forest fans, and I think they will have confidence in Jai Cunha coming in, because like I said, they really like this young centre-half who just hasn't been trusted for whatever reason up until the recent month or so. But the Forest fans will give him a warm welcome. Of course, this is going to be such work, because always feels like Murilo's more than just a centre-half to Nottingham Forest, doesn't it? He's such a ball carrier. He's almost, it's so easy to say that he starts the attacks, but he truly almost drives them forward into attack. Yeah,
well, it's similar to Sangara in the line ahead of him. Like you say, he's a ball carrier, and he can just move them 10 yards further up the field, can't he, with his ability to go past players. Jai Cunha, interesting player coming in from Botafogo. So only half a season there after signing from Santos. Yeah, just thinking about Murillo's struggles, potential World Cup doubts now. It's just going to be a talking point for the next few weeks, isn't it?
There is Hutchinson moving to his more natural right-hand side role. He plays it back for Olorena. Ball whipped into the penalty area, well headed away by Ugan Chukwu. Now it's going to be Olorena who finds Elliot Anderson. He's been clattered by Florentino, who really is tallying up the fouls. That may be his third or fourth already in this half. They're not all dangerous fouls, are they? They're just the little ones in the middle. It's good use of his body, Elliot Anderson. He sees his man coming from one side, and he kind of just shifts away, knowing that if Florentino is to get the ball, he has to go through Anderson first.
Yeah, it's a coming together, but Anderson knows it's coming, and you can see the force, just with the speed that Florentino's moving at. But interesting, Anderson's now taking over the free kick responsibility. It's more a cross than a shot backwards there. If he's a left footer, he might be going for goal. That's what makes me think that Anderson will be the player to take it with the right foot away from goal.
See this ready to be taken. It's going to be in swinging from Elliot Anderson towards the back post. Decent delivery, but nobody there. Sangare flat-footed on the edge of the box as well. Kyle Walker's just going to breeze past him and use his pace that we've not seen too much this season from Kyle Walker. He picks a nice pass into Edwards. That's not a great ball from Marcus Edwards into the middle. It really just slowed that down. I thought yes, it was a bit of a bobbled ball from Kyle Walker as well into Marcus Edwards, but it was a great chance to break away.
Well, that's been a theme of Burnley's play. Well, we just seen it there. An opportunity for a player to turn out, but they've gone backwards and played the way they've been faced, and then the quality of the balls haven't been invested. Dubravka plays a bit of a bumpy one to Ekdal across his own 6-yard line. Burnley through Ekdal eventually is clear their lines. Murillo wins it ahead of Zion Fleming. Forest coming for, they have been the better side, but not much better.
Yes, we now see Nico Williams. He's on the attack. He plays it to the left-hand side for backward. He whips it in. Dangerous ball whipped in towards Gibbs White. His effort is a really poor one, easily saved by Dubravka as we approach the 45th minute of this one. I have to say, might be the least quality game in the Premier League I've watched all season so far in this opening 45 minutes. literally nothing has happened.
That's a shot on target. So that's the
that's
best we've had. So it's the first one we've had so far. Well, and maybe the free kicks that went into the wall are classed as shots. That I'm conscious from these two of them were crosses. James Ward-Prowse's went down as a shot, but 45 minutes comes up. A look towards the fourth official. I think if 2 minutes have been added, the ball's even flat. We're going to have to change that. Yeah, odd scenario, isn't it? I think if we hadn't had that Murillo injury, they would have played 45 flat. But it's just been another ball's flat as well, and
tells the story of the game.
Yeah.
That ball, doesn't it? As you see the referee get his back underway, rolls it towards Martin Dubravka. I don't think he was expecting this to be so plain sailing for the opening 45 minutes. I really thought that Forest would have been all out in this first half based off that Spurs.
Kind of get the job done in the first half hour, maybe get a goal, get a second if they could, but it's just been quite lethargic from Forest. They made 3 changes from midweek, so that might be why. Yet, it's just there's no energy about the game.
Yeah, there really hasn't. As we now see Florentino goes back towards Ekdal. Now it's going to go for Dubravka. He's going to clip it towards the left-hand side. It was around the 20th minute. Leeds scored their quick-fire double yesterday against Wolves, and that's just the ruthlessness that we're on about that we kind of expected from Forest. I believe Leeds may have scored in the 24th and the 26th yesterday. As we now see Ekdal in possession, he's going to carry it forwards, turns to the right-hand side towards Ward-Prowse, ball in the middle for Kyle Walker. He looks for a reverse ball over the top, and that's a poor clearance, and here come Burnley with a good opportunity, their first real good opportunity. Marcus Edwards slides it through for Anthony, he slows it down, but it's in the penalty area towards Hartman, and it's in the box for the back post. There's a chance, they've got a goal, and it's Zion Fleming with the finish. 8 seconds before half-time. It's against, well, I wouldn't even say against the run of play, it's against the run of play in a sense that the game's just had nothing going for it. A mistake at the back from Forest. Nobody recovered. They were patient in the attack with Burnley. Zion Fleming has his 9th of the season. Well, this is bad for Forest. Really, really bad.
Yeah, it is. It might be what the game needed. I was just trying to have a look there. Milenkovic has gone over to the left where Murillo was, and Jakun has gone to the right-hand side of the back two. And those two look like they're trying to figure out between themselves at the moment. And that's where the mistake came. Milenkovic has got his body shape wrong for that slight change of position. Then Jakun got drawn out of position. They just don't get back in a 4. Milenkovic is playing everyone on side. He's so deep, the Serb, and it's that spit. He goes so deep back on his 6-yard line, and fair play to Fleming. He waits at the back post, and he's kind of watching everyone in front of him.
It's clever.
Yeah, he's watching the game unfold in front of him. He knows where to be, and that's exactly where the ball comes, because the ball is cut back. So often you see the ball cut back, and it goes along the 6-yard line, and no one's there. This time Fleming's there.
Yeah, it's a good finish. I thought Nico Williams was really flat-footed at the back post as well. He's nowhere near Zion Fleming at all. The long ball goes forward. That's going to go out of play for a Nottingham Forest throw in. Well, who'd have expected that right before half-time? The half-time whistle has gone at the CT ground. Nottingham Forest with a lot of work to do, because a loss today would be almost disastrous for them going into the break at the CT ground. Nottingham Forest 0, Burnley 1.
Not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zion Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into it from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into it from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into it from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into it from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into it from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into it from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into it from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into it from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into it from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into it from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well, Burnley lead 1-0. Forest have had most of the possession, not really created anything with it, and Burnley have grown in confidence as the half has gone on, and he got the goal in stoppage time. Really clever play by Zian Fleming. He followed the ball. Hartman's ball was eventually came into him from the left-hand side. Fleming fired him for the 9th time this season. Forest have been hit by the loss of Murillo through injury, haven't reorganised themselves at the back. It's Forest 0, Burnley 1 at half-time. Half-time at the City Ground, and well. Well, welcome back. Forest trading 1-0 to Burnley at half-time. We're about to restart. I think Burnley had a first go at the kick-off, caught us by surprise. Second time they didn't catch us by surprise. They went long, one for a 50-22 if you follow your rugby union. Straight out on the full though for James Ward-Prowse. Forest throw. Forest have made a substitution. So Igor Jesus come on. The Brazilian, he's replaced Dylan Bakwa, so it's 4-4-2 maybe for the Tricky Trees, and well, they need it more than Burnley, don't they, really? Burnley be a great result for them, yet they'd still be 9 points shy of safety. Forest are 2 points above the bottom three. But if they lose this game, and suddenly if West Ham win tomorrow night, they're on at 35 points. They're 4 points better off, but Forest dropped down to 17th. Remember that when they beat West Ham in January, there was 7 points clear of the Hammers. And, yeah, interesting situation. The big 45 minutes that you feel for Forest coming up. So they line up at the moment with Sells. They've got had to make a change in the defence with Murillo going off. We thought was a hamstring injury as well in the first half. It's Ain as the right back, Williams the left back. Now it's Aikuna alongside Milenkovic, and well, that's changed Milenkovic's position as well. He's now the left side of the two centre halves, and he looks uncomfortable as he made the mistake for the goal as well. See how that develops. Sangari and Anderson hold the midfield. It's Hutchinson and Gibbs-White and Wood and Igor Jesus unchanged at Burnley from the first half. The Bravka, the goalkeeper, Walker, Ekdal, Esteve and Hartman across the back in a 4-2-3-1 with Ward-Prowse and Florentino the two. Edwards, Ugochukwu and Anthony are behind the goal scorer. Fleming, yeah, not quite against the run of the play, I wouldn't say that goal, but Forest had a lot of the ball in the first half. The stats tell me it was actually 51%, 49%, but you can't always trust stats, I would suggest, with what you see with your eyes. Although I did see Huddersfield, when they drew with Cardiff in the week, they only had 28% of the ball, but had all the chances. It was a bit of a strange game, but just felt like maybe a bit of fatigue. Forest problem at the moment. For a team that got to the semi-finals of the Europa League, they seem to lack a bit of belief as well, as Jacuna, first half sub, exchanging passes with Amari Hutchinson. Will have to go all the way back to Matt Sells, and I think we might be saying that quite a lot because Burnley are going to sit deep in this second half and understandably try and hold on to what they've got.
Yeah, exactly that. You made the point, Jack, in the first half that if anyone takes the lead, can you see the other team going and scoring 2 goals? It's a great way to look at it. I think Nottingham Forest, they have to. That has to have been the message from Vitor Pereira. Yes, it may put pressure on. These Forest players have to embrace pressure at this stage of this season. That's just the simple fact of it, or they'll get relegated. That's just, you get punished. Tottenham, fairly unlucky at times not to be able to take 3 points from yesterday's game. We started to see more quality. We started to see De Zerbi's maybe influence that a little bit more. So Nottingham Forest, you lose at home to Burnley. I mean, what does that do to your confidence going into the next games? Because this is probably the game on paper for the remainder of the season where you think, right, there's your 3 points to really kick-start it. Because like you said, there's tricky games coming up. There's trips to the likes of Sunderland, to Chelsea, and you've got Newcastle, you've got Old Trafford still to go. It is a tough end to the season for Nottingham Forest in terms of fixtures. This second half is so important. It's interesting what he's done. Vitor Pereira, the main confusing thing when I watch Nottingham Forest, which I've seen them quite a lot since he came in, he's always changing his formation through the games, going into from starting lineup. Sometimes he'll be a 3-back, he'll be a 4-4-2. He's put Gibbs-White on the left in this second half as almost a left midfielder in a 4-4-2. Is that where you want your best player?
Well, he's also put Nico Williams as the right back, and Elaine has gone to left back. Both have played on both sides quite a lot in their careers,
which
haven't
could
they?
Work.
Well, you wonder if the brief for Nico Williams is going to be to switch the ball to Gibbs-White or try and find him with balls over the top. Also, he's got good whipped ball on him, hasn't he, Williams? And it might be, if he gets to the edge of the area, he can whip the ball. He's got 2 targets now with Wood and Igor Jesus. And well, the Wood situation is far from ideal, isn't it? In that we mentioned that injury he's been having to manage. He spent a long time out with an injury, but I think Vitor Pereira's ideal would have maybe to take him out at half time if you're Cyber ahead. He might have to go to the 90th, mightn't he? As Burnley come forward again. It's Kyle Walker tries to cut it back. Well positioned is Elliot Anderson, is then fouled by Fleming, the goal scorer. Easy decision, really, for the ref, Tom Kirk, who's had a good game, in my opinion, thus far. Kyle Walker's rolled back the ears a few times, actually, with his forays forward. Amari Hutchinson. Aina's now gone back to right back, and this is a great run by Hutchinson. He's well tackled, though, by Florentino. I thought he was fouled, but he clearly won the ball there, the Brazilian. Well played by him. He'll try and meander past a few would-be tacklers. Anderson fires into one. It just hits Sangare. He was off the ball. It looked like he was going to go for a throw, but the Ivorian was there, and it might work out this for Forest. Gibbs-White turns away from Edwards. Nico Williams making a run down the left-hand side. Gibbs-White uses him as the decoy to cross towards the back post. Hutchinson as well to keep it in. Wood teases it back into the area. Ward-Prowse away. Jan Fleming tries to bring it down. Jacques Cunha will have to go all the way back to Mats Sells. Only Hugo Chokwe, of the Burnley players in the Forest half. As Elliot Anderson switches the play, and that's maybe you mentioned Gibbs-White naturally going to drift inside, and that allows Kyle Walker to have as much time as he likes to nod it back to his goalkeeper with one of those right to left balls. O'Reilly playing it on this occasion, and he's got the wrong side here of Jane Anthony, but the defender is so good. I always think O'Reilly. He's one of those players, a bit like Ruben Loftus-Cheek actually, maybe it's a Chelsea thing, just looks so natural when he plays. Yeah,
I think you can always tell when footballers come through those top academies, whether they're going to be successful or not, in terms of their actual career. You can always tell that there's always that little bit of confidence about them no matter what. Olarin is a great player. He makes it look effortless at times. He's good going forwards, good defensively. Yes, he has his injury problems at times. I think most players do. That's just normal. You're human. But he's a great player, and like we said, another great thing about Nico Williams and Olarena is they can swap. They can play on both sides. So versatile, which I know you'd rather your best players in their positions just play their best positions. It's a great strength to have, though.
Yeah, and we just see there he's rolled his right foot over the ball and clipped a perfect 5-yard ball, and then switches the play with his left foot. Yeah, you do wonder, should the unthinkable happen to Forest? Who would go as Igor Hughes? His shot is blown. Oh, no, Morgan Gibbs-White. His shot was blocked. Igor Jesus and Burnley were all over the place regarding the second ball. And Morgan Gibbs-White picked a really good position inside left, level with a penalty spot. Jesus' shot wasn't the best, but 3 Burnley players had gone towards the ball. Gibbs-White was unmarked, and he gets it all wrong. He just hits the bottom of it, spins up into the air and goes over a goal kick.
And he's onside.
Yeah.
That is such a big opportunity.
And he's had the presence of mind to look across as well, so he's got the composure for that bit. He just doesn't have it with the finish.
He's got a bit more time than I think he thinks as well. I'm not really suggesting that he should have taken a touch, because to hit that first time is still a great opportunity. He gets it all wrong. Big moment at the Hill Dickinson Stadium as well. Everton have levelled things up. 1-1 in that one after Mo Salah opened the scoring. Everton level things up, and it's that man Beto who's been heavily praised recently by David Moyes, which is well and truly coming into his own in the last few games.
Yes, turn and go from Gibbs-White. Now Sangare thinks it's over the top to Jesus. Steven Ekdal have something else to think about now, don't they, defensively? Hartman will toe poke it away. Forest ball. Almost 10 minutes of the second half played, and the Forest have been... Ooh, that was an awful foul throw. Surely they're going to bring that. He almost dropped it in front of them, did O'Reilly. We saw one last week in the game I was doing. It's one of those where everyone stops waiting for it, and you can see even the Burnley players are pointing out to the official now, but maybe the referee and assistants didn't see that. We're going to see a longer one from the Forest full-back now. He's telling everyone to get in and around Martin Dubravka's goal. For famously the first goalkeeper to score an own goal in the European Championship, when he punched it up in the air from a similar situation like this, and it dropped in on his own crossbar. He's gone down here as a Slovakian. The referee has to stop the game because a potential head injury and maybe something more serious. They're beckoning the stretcher to come on. It's one of those where he came...
he did a front flip.
Yeah, well, he did. Well, I was going to say, he comes over his own players rather than anything else, and it's just so awkward, and bang, lands on his left shoulder. Hopefully it's an impact injury, but the worry is it might be a bit more. Goalkeeping wise, they've got Max Weiser on the bench at Burnley, but he's still to make a league appearance for the Clarets. And the old cliche, what an opportunity it could be for the young man. Yet the Bravka for all of Burnley's faults, he's been one of the goalkeepers of the season. Really smart bit of business, I thought, when they got him in from Newcastle. And, well, they're going to have to take the time, and rightly so, over this one, just because he landed on his shoulder, but it was the impact as well. There was nothing stopping him, unfortunately, and they're just protecting his neck. Looks like they're moving it quite well, both sides. That's a good sign. He is talking as well, but yes, caution required. Villa 3-1 up against Sunderland. Rodgers adding to Watkins' first half double, like Kieran said. Everton won all now with Liverpool. And Everton had taken the lead, hadn't they? But the goal was ruled out. Speaking of shrewd business, yeah, Kieran Dewsbury Hall with the assist. He's been a real... obviously he had a decent spell at Leicester. They went down. And he went to Chelsea. He was kind of rescued by Everton. Looks like a real good bit of business there. Leicester is warming up the Burnley replacement goalkeeper. Looks like he's going to be required. Team news will be funneling in from the Manchester City Arsenal game. We'll try and bring you an update once we've got it. But a good sign is that the Bravkas back up. He'll want to play on, but I don't think it's a good idea. They're checking his mobility, basically, aren't they? The officials. Yeah. Sometimes I do think that the decision might almost be taken out of the team's hands, and maybe a neutral figure in the stand. It just feels like, with Burnley's situation and a few other things, it's better for everyone that Dubravka just takes the rest of the afternoon off.
Yeah, I think he'll try continue, won't he? He'll give it a few minutes. I think goalkeepers, when they have those impact moments, I think they just feel it that little bit more because they're less active. They're so stop-start, aren't they? Goalkeepers that... I'm not sure. I think he'll be okay to continue for the remainder, but let's see how he gets on for the next 5. But if you're Nottingham Forest now, you think, right, get that ball near him, get some shots off.
Yeah, so of course they're passing it back around the back four. Yeah, I'm with you as well. As mean and as cynical as it might sound, put the ball in, see how he is. Do you know what I mean? It almost sounds unfair, but we live in a bit of an unfair world, and it's fine margins at the top.
Be ruthless.
Exactly.
They're at this stage of the season. They're losing in the game that they need to win. Yeah,
I'm trying to talk it around exactly what I would do as the ball does eventually go in. It's headed away by Esteve. The Bravka staying on his line. Fleming holds it up and works it to Anthony, who's tackled needlessly, really, and fouled by Sangare. And it'll be a free kick and maybe a chance for Burnley to think about it. And Hartman happy to let Esteve do it, and Burnley are really good at managing the play actually here. As he always looks so smart, doesn't he? Scott Parker. I'm not sure about that jumper. He's got the label on the outside, Kieran. What's going on there? As obviously a brand that I won't recognise. Maybe it's what the kids are wearing. As Lorena goes long. Over Chris Wood, who just doesn't look fit at all at the moment.
No, he doesn't. Well, there's a big moment in the Everton-Liverpool game because Mamadashvili has just gone off injured, which means Freddie Woodman is in between the sticks for Liverpool. So what a strange season. And it's getting weirder. The Forest are on the attack.
Yes, they are, as Mari Hutchinson twists, turns and shows too much to Ekdal. Of course, Freddie's dad... Andy, the manager at Bromley. It looks like they're going to go up from League 2 as well. So, interesting season. I just say for everyone, even in the Woodman family, as Ekdal gets another clearance, hammers it high. And out for a throw. The sun has returned as well at the City ground. And it looks like... well, how is... I was going to say, is there a keeper looking into it? It looks like he's right across the ground, so there's poor fans on the far side. They might get a bit of a tango in this afternoon, but they're not going to be able to see too much football by the looks. So there's a lot of shielding eyes as Forest come forward again. It peters out. And they've already made 2 changes, one of them being tactical. Milenkovic has now come to the right hand side of the back four as well with João Cunha. And I think just looking at their options, I think a player who could give them a bit of value here is someone like Dominguez. Just a bit of buzz in the middle of the park. It's Anderson and Sangare both dropping off. And maybe you're in a game now where you don't really need Sangare to hold the midfield. You need someone who's going to go beyond those in front of him. Dominguez fits that bill. Ryan Yates will be in the manager's ear, you imagine, trying to get himself on. Obviously, such a huge figure at Nottingham Forest, but they've already had to make that change in the first half. They've got 3 changes left, but they do have 2 windows with one of the changes coming at half time, so no time to panic and no time to go, or they don't exactly have to go big straight away, but it's just not working at the moment. Maybe I'm about to eat my words. Wood can turn. He'll give it to Jesus, who whips a deep ball, so deep it's over Morgan Gibbs-White. Will Williams be able to rescue it? He will on the far side. Gets it back onto his right foot, whips it in. It's an easy way. They've got 2 centre forwards, Forest, but no one seems to be attacking the ball. Otherwise, will get it on his left foot, whip a ball in. Keeper thinks about coming. Jesus just seems to leave it. He comes off a Burnley player, wrestling between Milenkovic and Fleming. Error by Ward-Prowse, and it's 1-0. Morgan Gibbs-White puts it away. Ward-Prowse, I think it was, who headed it. It was underneath the ball. He headed it behind himself, over his own defenders. Morgan Gibbs-White makes it 1-0.
Yeah, and it's a big moment in this one, but it's so poor from Burnley. It's their own undoing. What on earth is Ward-Prowse thinking with that header? The initial ball in was well dealt with by Burnley. Milenkovic heads it forward, but what is Ward-Prowse doing? He lobs his whole defence. It's a nice touch, a nice finish. The clearing offside is nowhere near offside. This goal will stand, and Nottingham Forest, they've just got to use this now, haven't they? They've just got to completely go for this, win this game, and almost just forget about it, because like we said, it's such a big game for them to get a victory, but it's a big goal, and it is Gibbs-White with it.
Yeah, well, it was Kyle Walker claiming offside, but he was supposedly marking Gibbs-White, and I think it was desperation from the defender, but that might be the fillip that Forest need. Obviously, I've just been chatting about all the changes they might look to make. Maybe they'll just try to persevere with what they've got at the moment. Looks like Edwards is going to come off for Burnley, and it's going to be Lyle Foster to come on. Maybe Fleming goes wide on the right hand side. Maybe they go 4-4-2. Fleming and Foster often change positions, but 1-0. Maybe an opportunity for Forest here. As we've played at 63.5 minutes, independent off Tube Studio commentary. How will Burnley react? How will Forest react? As it's worked down the right hand side by Burnley into Fleming's feet, but he loses out, goes down, clutching his face, I think. Then a Forest ball. Wood came short, and the ball went long, and Dubravka can sort his feet out and go to Ekdal, who gives it back to him. As the table stands, Forest will be 3 points clear of the bottom 3, but Spurs got a better goal difference, which is a worry. West Ham are also got poor goal difference compared to everyone around them. There's a foul in the middle of the park, but play on as Ugochukwu got space down the right hand side towards Lyle Foster. First touch, great save by Matt Sells down to his right hand side. The South African, it was a decent volley to the goalkeeper's right, and he had to get down low and touch it around the post.
Yeah, it's a good save from Matt Sells. In the end, it's a great ball in towards the back post. It's a tricky angle to really try and score from there from Lyle Foster, but he just hooks it towards the near post. It may have even been just trickling wide, but Matt Sells isn't to know that. Tips it behind the post and see if Burnley can retake the lead.
Yes, going to be Ward-Prowse looking to make amends for his error. The Forest players telling each other to calm down, and Ward-Prowse's ball is deep. 2 players have gone down. Wood and Foster headed away by Anderson, but I think the free kick has been awarded for the tangle in there. Also, interesting, Celtic are 2-1 up against St Mirren in the semi-finals of the Scottish Cup, a repeat of the League Cup final. They're familiar in the campaign. Looking at elsewhere, Nico O'Reilly is fit to start for Manchester City. Hobbled off against Chelsea last Sunday, but he was the the bane of Arsenal, wasn't he, in the EFL Cup final. Foster works his way down the left-hand side. Lorena tracks him. He's got support as well from Elliot Anderson. Foster keeping it in. Anderson's making himself awkward. The ball's kind of stuck between 4 players on the ground. He rolls out. It's going to be a Forest throw. Odegaard returns for Arsenal. And it's back to the future. Kai Havertz going to start up front. Victor Gyökeres is on the bench for the Gunners. That's a huge game at 4:30. In our game, it's 1-0. Forest equalising Burnley's first half goal. Last touch came off Hutchinson Shawley there. And the assistant saw it. Harmon will take the throw right in front of the 2 coaches. Short to Florentino. Lovely bit of play between those 2 players. Back to Florentino. Ball to Fleming is short though. Milenkovic gives it to Sagare. Turn and go from Wood inside to Igor Jesus. Just won't stick to him at the moment. The Brazilian forward. Walker goes wide to Anthony, who's switched wings since Costa came on. He's right in the right back position here. Plays it long. Sangare, as so often he does, anticipates where the ball's going to be, but he does it again actually, because it wasn't a great ball forward, but Walker's touch was heavy and Sangare was there. It's back to Milenkovic. Fizz it into Anderson. Jakuna making a bit of a run down the left hand side actually. If Milenkovic can see him, he's got space to move into, has the Brazilian defender. Brings it over halfway and goes back to Anderson. Nice ball inside left position. It's Nico Williams. He's got to play it towards the penalty spot. Igor Jesus went to the back post. 2 Burnley defenders. It's a corner kick.
Yeah, corner kick coming up. You feel like it's just going to be a lot of Nottingham Forest now, isn't it? On the attack, asking questions of Burnley. Just seeing that again. It was the cutback, well deflected, out for another set piece opportunity for them to find a couple of the big men in the area.
Yeah, so with Nico Williams to take it. And then Kovic and Wood in the 6-yard area. Won't be the only ones. Yeah, I see Jakuna going in towards the back post. And Ibrahim Sangare. Ball is, well, after all that, there are all those bodies in there. And somehow, the Bravka took it unmarked right underneath his crossbar. No one's really attacking it for Forest there. The Bravka boots it long, headed away by the retreating Milenkovic. Wood, I think, is going to be offside if this goes on, but it does go on. Igor Jesus has got the ball. Mari Hutchinson, right position, gets into the box, goes past his man towards the back post. Gibbs White's there. What a volley! And into the net. They'll have to look at maybe an offside against Chris Wood, but Gibbs White missed that great chance after about an hour, but since then scored twice. 2-1.
Well, the main players step up. They've got to step up in big games. Gibbs White has absolutely done it in this one. I tell you what, if you're a Spurs fan watching on today, your heart is just absolutely sunk. And Nottingham Forest have turned the game on its head. It's a nice turn. What they're going to check is Ujak felt that Chris Wood was offside in the build-up of this, and that will be interesting. It's a nice big ball in from Hutchinson. What a volley. I tell you what, Gibbs White, he had that miss at 1-0. Didn't he? That a good opportunity at the start of this half, and you wondered whether that had just maybe sum up their day for the remainder. But that's a great finish. What a volley. He rifles it through the goalkeeper. They've turned the game on its head. They'll check for a potential offside maybe. We haven't seen any replays of it yet in the build-up, but Morgan Gibbs White with his brace. Yes,
with his brace, and as you say, really standing up when he's needed to. The Forest skipper still to have an indication of whether or not they will change it or have a look at it. Well, they will be having a look at it, but do we know if there is a review going on? The camera focuses on Gibbs White. They're about to make a change with Ryan Yates coming on. The game has kicked off. Woods must have been onside. And well, we are into the final quarter. Forest 2-1 up. Heading for potential safety, you feel. Jesus tackles Hartman. And that's the interesting thing. I was actually just thinking, Hartman rarely goes beyond the hour, and he was out of position for that goal. And he's had a lot of injuries over the last 18 months. That probably delayed his departure from Feyenoord, because he had some excellent performances in the Champions League before that, but maybe fatigue's caught up with the Dutchman. Anyway, we are into the final quarter. As I say, Forest leading 2-1. Kieran will take us through to full time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jack. You see Jade Nanty looks for a ball in behind. It takes a deflection away, and Ugachukwu is taken down, and the referee doesn't give a free kick. Here's Elliot Anderson. He's got an option to the left, and he plays it to the left. It's a terrible touch. In the end, awful touch from Chris Wood. They get a corner. Kyle Walker's moaning at somebody. I think it's the referee for that not being a foul. But what an opportunity for Forest to get in. Chris Wood, his first touch was really let him down. Yeah,
well, I think it's really helped Kyle Walker, because he was 5 yards off it there, wasn't he, Walker? The touch by Wood went back towards Walker, who could retreat and play it out. But it just feels like Forest time at the moment, doesn't it? Burnley, their intensity has dropped. I'm surprised they haven't made more changes.
Yes, we now see this corner ready to be whipped in. It's only really going to be Nottingham Forest, you feel, for the remainder of this one. The corner's easily headed away, only as far as Bon Gibbs-White, who would have loved to have hit that for his hat-trick. That's a lovely play from Hutchinson. Then he finds Gibbs-White, sharp turn from him, ball flashed across the first goal, cleared away. In the end, Hutchinson's going to bring it down. He hooks it back towards the right, looking for Gibbs-White, who's battling with Lyle Foster. Foster gets there first, turns away and plays it off Gibbs-White. That goes for a goal kick, but it's great pressure from Gibbs-White, and it's the type of stuff that's going to get that Forest crowd going once again.
Absolutely. And yeah, just gives that everyone a bit of extra energy, doesn't it? Still we wait for Ryan Yates' introduction. And Burnley just haven't really used their bench. That one alteration with Foster, who almost got a goal coming on, but they just look a bit tired at the moment for my money. Maybe someone like Jakob Brown Larsen could get them up the field, but they are heading at 4 now. If Anthony can keep it in, he can keep it in. Oh, it's a poor header by Milenkovic. It falls to Foster. Fortunately for him, his touch, or fortunately for Forest, his touch was poor. And Aina got the block in and cleared away.
Yes, you now see them still in the tap, ball whipped into the penalty area. Headed away by Milenkovic. Then there's a big header won by Elliot Anderson. Well, if Forest are to win, and the pressure then goes and mounts on towards West Ham. Tomorrow evening up against Crystal Palace away from home. A very big game, of course. I'm not sure if Palace have a couple of injury doubts. The likes of Walton and Lacroix do have question marks over them. As we now see Steph, I tell you what, if West Ham win tomorrow, Forest hold on to this one, then there is no real doubt of who the losers are this weekend, and maybe for the coming weeks as well. In terms of Tottenham, I think we're all still adjusting and adapting to the fact that it's looking very likely that Tottenham are going to get relegated.
Tottenham have got Wolves next Saturday, haven't they? At the same time that West Ham host Everton. You feel that those two games could be almost decisive, because they can go either way, can't they?
Yeah, and I guess a good opportunity for those to mount pressure on Leeds, who won't be playing, of course, at the weekend. We expect Leeds to probably rest a lot of their team in the Premier League game midweek as well away at Bournemouth. Yes, they're on 39 points. Leeds less in it than the others, but you can never count anybody out. As we now see Kyle Walker in possession, goes across towards Florentino. It would be nice if a couple of teams are still in it going into the last day of the season, just for that little bit of drama that we love in the Premier League. And see Jade Nanty dancing into the penalty area. It's well cleared away, only as far as Igor Jesus, who's going to drive forwards on the counter. A little nudge in his back. That's better from him, and taken down. Good work from Jesus there.
Yes, and Florentino gets his yellow card. I mean, it has been coming. I think it's fair to say. There's been a few tactical fouls in there from the Brazilian, but yellow card number 8 for him this season. And yeah, a classic take one for the team, that one, because they were a bit exposed and he brought his man down.
And now see this free kick ready to be taken. Maybe a 5th foul in this game even for Florentino. He's had so many, hasn't he, today so far. Ugachukwu is going to make way for Jakob Brun Larsen. That's an attacking change. A central midfielder for a winger.
Yeah. Chris Wood's going to head off as well. Precaution. After that knee injury. Ugachukwu, there is something there, isn't there? Every time he gives you something, but he just doesn't give you enough. And he's been pretty anonymous, especially in the second half. Ryan Yates won't be anonymous. He'll be straight into the action in the Forest midfield. And we try to drag his side through. Said it in the first half. Forest have proven me wrong they have scored 2 goals. I can't see Burnley scoring a second though.
Until they do. They definitely could, but yeah, they don't look like doing so, do they, at the moment, as we now see the ball with Milenkovic. Olerena then plays it in behind. It's going to go up towards Amari Hutchinson, but it's well headed away by Hartman. And he goes out for a throw. 76.5 minutes on the clock. If you are just tuning in, it is Nottingham Forest 2, Burnley 1. Scores on the dollars elsewhere. Aston Villa 3, Sunderland 1. Morgan Rogers scoring that 3rd goal at the start of the second half. And then Everton 1, Liverpool 1 as we see Forest on the attack. Now, ball down the right-hand side. Ryan Yates whips it in, and it's a decent ball in. There's a header from Jesus. No, it isn't. It's Gibbs White who gets his hat-trick, and what a header that is from Morgan Gibbs White. That is absolutely game, set, and match. It's hat-trick delight for Gibbs White. What a header, and it's 3-1.
Yeah, and he scored 3 goals and missed his easiest chance, didn't he? But maybe that got him his eye in, because a wonderful hat-trick, a wonderful header this one from Gibbs White. It's a classic going away from goal. Doesn't seem to be too much pace on the ball either. And into Yates, who does really well to get the ball in there and unmarked. Ekdal nor Kyle Walker know really where Gibbs White is. It's a really good header by the Forest number 10. He's got to be 14 yards out there, hasn't he? Just loops it over the Bravka and into the far corner.
But that's seriously impressive. That is one
right into the side netting.
That's one that Chris would be proud of. He's just made way. I mean, he couldn't have headed that any better. I genuinely don't believe he could have headed that any better. And he's not close range, is he? Like you said, about 14, 15 yards out for a header, backpedaling a little bit. That is impressive, seriously impressive. And hey, when you're at this stage of the season, you need your big players to step up, the ones that you think you can rely on. Xavi Simons yesterday, he's had a bit of a poor season, but was signed for a lot of money. It felt like he had his moment yesterday until they blew it away in the final minutes. He's got a great goal. Gibbs White, I mean, he's carried the team today, hasn't he? Because Nottingham Forest, yes, they've scored 3 goals, but without Gibbs White's contribution with those 3 goals today, they've been very flat. Yeah,
and credit to Vitor Pereira. We weren't quite sure about Gibbs White's positioning left of midfield in a 4-4-2, but maybe it's James Ward-Prowse has played a really poor ball crossfield out for a Forest throw about 25 yards from Burnley's goal. But Gibbs White has just been, because he is such a smart player, he's assessed what's in front of him and he's made sure he's always been behind the ball, so when it comes to him he's got a bit of space. And Walker doesn't know where we've just seen it there. Gibbs White has run in behind Kyle Walker and he's just shown no interest in marking him there. Walker doesn't know whether to come or go. He's pulling on to Ekdal. He's been concerned with Wood and Jesus. He's just such a smart player, and it seems like a really smart move from the coach.
Yeah, I think Kyle Walker's been a weird one this season. Every time I've watched him, I think Burnley fans have the same opinion. Doesn't look like he cares that much, Kyle Walker. He's kind of just sauntered about. He's been moaning at a lot of people today, that is for sure. I wouldn't say he's had a bad game in that sense. It is very 50-50, maybe the effort levels at times, as we now see Gibbs White back heel towards Elliot Anderson. They're going to enjoy themselves now. Kyle Walker, I think, has just proved my point. He's just, in a frustrated way, gone and clattered Morgan Gibbs White. So, yeah, maybe just prove my point a bit there.
Yeah, it was a bit unnecessary, that, from the veteran. He's the captain, and yellow card as well. I think we thought it was coming for Kyle Walker. I would say just a bit unnecessary, but I think just frustration getting the better in there. We just saw a really good camera angle. It's independent Octave studio commentary, but we could see about 30 yards from the ball, Gibbs White was just wandering about, and Walker, you would think, would be marking him, or a player who's got a hat-trick. You tend to keep an eye on those kind of guys, don't you? And he just didn't seem to be much, not interest, but not desire. I'm trying to find the right word. it just wasn't for him, it felt like there.
Yes, you now see the ball whipped in. Well taken by Martin Dubravka, who plucks it out of the sky. And he's going to look to maybe get them back on the front foot. 81 minutes on the clock. 3-1 to Nottingham Forest. It's definitely game over at the City ground. Well, it was a very miserable game up until about the 44th minute, wasn't it?
47th minute, I think we got the goal, didn't we?
The 47th minute. The second half has not been as bad. It's certainly been more watchable, but it's only felt like there's one team we're really watching in the second half, which is understandable. Burnley had that 1-0 lead, of course, and Nottingham Forest are fighting for their lives. Needed a victory today. They're going to get that victory, barring something absolutely ridiculous happening in this one. As we now see a switch ball towards the left-hand side, looking for Brun Larsen, who hasn't had a touch, I don't think, since coming on.
Yeah, yet to get a touch so far, and balls like that aren't going to help him, because Olena's got 50 yards to watch it come towards him and nod it out quite comfortably for a throw. Burnley playing laterally at the moment. Ekdal's going to try and break the line. He kicks it to Anthony on the right-hand side. He gives a player a bump, makes himself a yard. It hits Anderson, off balance is the midfielder. He goes for a corner kick, actually. It's maybe an opportunity for Burnley. Get one now. It's got to take time to get a second, but they're going to bring 3 players on. Josh Lawrence, one of them. Amanda Brozier, another. I think it was Shona, the third, but 8 minutes left plus probably 4 stoppages.
Shona, another one that a little bit weird, because I think he's a great player. Doesn't play that much. He's probably got one of the goals of the season this season in their home game against Leeds. It was an absolute world that he scored. Esteves allowed to bring it down in the penalty area from the corner, but it's well dealt with by Cunha. He's going to play it forward, but they've not missed Murillo since he's gone off, have they, really? He's been pretty solid. The back from Nottingham Forest. This triple change about to be made now, so we're going to see Anthony make way for the former Lazio man Shauna. Amanda Brozier always felt like a big gamble signing, didn't it? Never really felt like it was a clever one. As Fleming, Florentino and Anthony to make way for Shauna, Brozier and Josh Laurent.
Yeah, well, Florentino's on a yellow card, so you kind of expect that. It's like for like in there. A bit of confusion with is Fleming going off, no one seems to know, but Brozier is coming on. It's that thing, isn't it? It's a bit like a couple of players we've mentioned, maybe similar to Leslie Ugachukwu. It's just the injuries that have really hurt Armando Brozier. There was really something there when he had that great season on loan at Southampton, but many have tried and not really succeeded trying to get that. I think because you can't rely on his injury record, it's easier not to give him a run of games, isn't it? And that's what players need. But and he's in the less than sweet spot of being maybe too good for the Championship, but just not quite there in the Premier League.
Yeah, spot on. As we see the ball towards the right hand side, Kyle Walker looks for the ball down the right for Shauna. Back to Walker, who lifts it up towards Brozier. He's battling with Milenkovic. Doesn't need to take any risks, does Jaya Cunha. It was in the end, just muscled him off and played it out for throw. 84 minutes on the clock. Remains 3-1 to Nottingham Forest. I wonder how the ascendancy is going in the Merseyside derby. I wonder what side it is that's pushing for the victory. Of course, that is big news with Freddie Woodman coming on. The stats are pretty even. Liverpool with the one more shot and one more shot on target. A little bit more possession as well. And as you see, this throw ready to be taken for Burnley. Goes down the line for Shauna. Takes a heavy first touch. He's going to keep it alive. Plays it off Williams, but it's going to be cleared away by Elliot Anderson to the left-hand side. It's ended up just being nice passes from Forrest, and then it's going to be cleared forwards from Nico Williams. As we now see the ball towards the right. Interestingly, Olarena goes back to right back. They've been switching, chopping and changing, haven't they, in this one? Looks like Sunderland have pulled one back against Aston Villa, so maybe a bit of a nervy ending for Villa in that one. Trey Hume, an unlikely goal scorer. Aston Villa sat 4th in the Premier League at the moment. 5 points clear of Liverpool, but 10 points clear of 6th place. You think they'll be getting Champions League football this season? Marato looks like he might be shipped off and ready to come on soon.
Yeah, well, you thought in times gone by, he would have been the like for like for Murillo. But Jack Cunha seems to have overtaken his fellow Brazilian as the third of the 4 defenders for Nottingham Forest. And that'll be to a back 3. Victor Pereira, he's just a smart coach, isn't he? Brought Yates on but kept Sangare on and pushed Anderson further forward. He just done a nice job of just closing the game out.
Yes, Forrester on the attack now. Yates cuts inside, plays it down the line for Sangare. He turns away onto his left boot, lays it off towards Gibbs White, cuts inside, goes for goal again. It flashes wide. It was Nico Williams with the effort that flashes away. It's not a terrible strike from him in the end. Sangare did pretty well. Well, Sunderland just scored in the 86th minute and have just made it 3-3 in
wow.
the 87th. They've scored 2 goals in 1 minute.
The opposite of you, as vulnerable as you're ever going to be after scoring, then, isn't it? I looked at that Nico Williams effort, one of those where you see he's lining up, where you look towards the far post and you expect the ball to nestle into the net. Moving forward here are Burnley. Brojo find Brun Larsen.
Yeah, Brun Larsen on the attack, plays it to the edge. Laurent lays it off. Brun Larsen just a little bit too clever for maybe the situation in hand, as we now see Brun Larsen turns away from his man, Paul down the lines. A really poor one. Kind of sums it up for Burnley in the final third in this second half. As Sunderland, I mean, a draw, them pulling this back might actually just keep them in that European race, because it puts them only 1 point behind Chelsea. Everton dropping points, of course, themselves. So quite a big goal in the European race, despite being 11th place in the league. I mean, that is quite something. They've got Nottingham Forest at home next, Wolves away the game after. They've still got to play Chelsea and Everton. Tasty end to the season for Sunderland. Double change coming up though. Gibbs White and Hutchinson to make way for Dominguez and Morata.
Yeah, Gibbs White, player of the match, pretty undoubted that one. He gets deserved clap off the field. Morata come on, make it a back 3 alongside Jack Cunha and Nikola Milankovic. Dominguez was a match winner at West Ham in January, but with Ibrahim Sangare coming back from AFCON and Ryan Yates coming into a bit of form, he's almost been a bit of a forgotten man, the Argentine midfielder. But we'll get to see out at the game. High fives all round. How moods can change in football. We're a bit worried for Forest with 68 minutes on the clock, but within 8 minutes of that, Morgan Gibbs White had got a hat-trick, and looks like they're going to win 3-1.
Yeah, as we now just see the ball with Ward-Prowse. He plays it to the left-hand side with Hartman. As Hartman goes to the left once more. It's going to be him in possession. He's almost just dilly-dallying on the ball, and he's being caught out. And Yates has added a good bit of solidarity to this side, hasn't he, since coming on? We kind of knew he would.
Yeah, he's a good player, isn't he? Ryan Yates. I think he's always everyone's cup of tea, but you know you're going to get 100%, and he's someone who's improved in that he just does the basics so well. He tracks his man, can make those nice passes, makes the interceptions when he needs to. He knows what kind of player he is, and he's perfect for this kind of situation. Just going to screen the back four. He'll get form when he needs to. He'll always be. He's at an age now where he knows how to be the spare man in midfield, have a bit of space in front of him, and allows Sangare a bit more freedom as well to go forward.
Yes, we now see the ball on the left-hand side. It's going to be with Dominguez. 89.5 minutes on the clock. Nottingham Forest 3, Burnley 1. Definitely feels like game over in this one. Shai Cunha plays it forwards into the middle. Anderson leaves it for Alarena. It's clever from Elliot Anderson, who's had a more quiet game, hasn't he, for his standards, but has allowed things to just tick along quite nicely. As we see Anderson again, goes across towards Cunha, and then it's the ball goes in behind. There's going to be 8 minutes of added time in this one. I mean, that is a long time. It doesn't really feel like an 8 minutes added time type of game, but I got Jesus in possession, but he's been caught offside in the end. 8 minutes, Jack. Where have they got that one?
We had the break for Dubravka. We've had the substitution breaks as well, but 8 does seem a bit extravagant, doesn't it? I did see Aurelius De Laurentiis, the Napoli president today, or this week rather, suggesting a way to improve football would be to have get 25-minute halves. But if you actually look at the clock, it pretty much is a 25-minute half lasting 45 plus, isn't it? Because of the amount of time the ball is in and out of play. 8 minutes does feel a bit extreme, but it is one of those as well. I think if you'd offered the coaches 3-1 Forest win as well, they probably would have taken it after 80 minutes, wouldn't they? Because Burnley, they had that half chance through Lyle Foster late on, and then Forest hit back, and then Burnley they look tired. They just look a team. They look what they are, lethargic, maybe a bit fatigued because they've been chasing the ball all season and lacking confidence because whatever they've tried just hasn't worked.
Yeah, it hasn't so far, as we now see Olaena in possession with the ball in hand, as he's waiting to restart play once again. He throws it in towards the middle. Elliot Anderson plays it to the left-hand side. And the ball is still driving forwards on the left. 2 minutes played of the 8. As you now see them recycle it. Milenkovic goes all the way back once again towards Jean Cunny. Definitely feels like we're just almost a dead rubber bit of this game now, as we see the ball with Laurent. He goes strong into the challenge. The referee says it's fair. We now see Brun Larsen on the attack. Laurent plays it across, and Stev now goes all the way across towards the right hand side. Foster in possession. Looks like Aston Villa have just made it 4-3 in the 94th minute. What a game at Villa Park. They gave their fans a bit of a scare, it seems, but it's Tammy Abraham with the goal off the bench, as we now see the ball on the right hand side. It's going to be Walker in towards Josh Laurent once again, who finds Shona, looks to stab it inwards. They're seeing a lot of the ball now at the moment at Burnley, but nothing coming of it, as we see Walker into Shona. It's on the right hand side again, looking to conjure an attack up. They're just struggling to do so, and in the end Burnley lose possession. Here come Forest on the attack. Dominguez almost thought of a forward ball, almost tripped himself up doing so. He keeps possession. Maybe that sums it up for Burnley as well, that Forest can still have the ball after Dominguez did that. Elliot Anderson's now got a bit of a problem, and that is a worry again.
Yeah, it's from that challenge. He's just massaging his left hip, which means probably more an impact injury than anything more serious. But we saw Murillo go off in and around the fringes of the Brazil team or squad. You don't know if he's going to be able to make the World Cup. I think it's a hamstring injury for him. We saw Esteval go off early for Chelsea against Manchester United last night, and we just are in mid to late April now, and it's everyone gets a bit nervous, understandably so, with the World Cup looming.
Yeah, as we now see 4 minutes remaining of this one. Olaena in possession, goes all the way across towards Milenkovic. And Milenkovic now finds Marato. Marato in possession still, goes all the way back towards Matt Sells. He turns away from his man, and now he's going to find Cunha. Boots it long down the channel. It's going to be held up by Elliot Anderson. It now ricochets for Yates. And goes all the way across once more for Dominguez. Now it's towards the left-hand side for Marato again, who's going to carry it forwards once more. Now with Dominguez, seen a lot of the ball over the last few minutes or so. Still 1-1 in the Merseyside derby, with 11 minutes of added time there. 5 minutes into that. Branthwaite's gone off with an injury. Fingers crossed that isn't too bad, because he's another one. He's missed a lot of this season with injuries. We now see Shona on the right hand side. He plays it down the line for Broja. Late opportunity for Burnley on the attack. Broja cuts inside, whips the ball towards the back post, brought down by Brun Larsen. Falls only as far as Hartman, who plays it across towards Ward-Prowse. Now it's going to be with Brozier again. You kind of want a striker like him to be in and around the penalty area, but he isn't. He's lurking around the edge of it, putting the balls in despite being a big striker himself. Now it's going to ricochet out for a Burnley throw-in. Walker takes it. He throws it towards Ward-Prowse. Now it's back to Walker, who whips in a dangerous ball into the penalty area. Nobody attacking it in the end. And that was a dangerous ball in, wasn't it? But it maybe a bit too close to the keeper.
Yeah, there was a bit of misunderstanding, maybe a bit of confusion between the goalkeeper and now, very much a flat back five when they don't have the ball. Nottingham Forest, but Sells did well. Yes, going back, that save that he made from Lyle Foster to his left hand side, touching it round the post. Is of course, Gibbs White has got the hat trick. He's the match winner, but in the context of the game, that's made a huge difference, that save.
Yeah, as we now see 1.5 minutes remaining in this one. Not long left at all. As Nico Williams with the ball in hand. He's ready to take this through. Well, Vitor Pereira will be delighted, won't he, with his side's second half. I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of handshakes and pats on the back for Morgan Gibbs White, isn't there? He's going to have a match ball to take home with him with just a minute remaining. All the games, incidentally, still playing, all late ones in this one. Aston Villa Sunderland still going on in the 98th. Everton Liverpool still going on. Of course, there was 11 added on. There was 7 minutes added on for the Aston Villa game. As we now see the ball go in behind again, and here's a chance for Nottingham Forest to seal the deal. It's Igor Jesus who's racing through on goal, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He goes for goal, and he does seal the deal. It's a calm finish, and it felt like Igor Jesus needed that goal in the Premier League as well. He's got the celebration. He's celebrating with the fans 30 seconds before time. Nottingham Forest, the deal was already sealed, it felt, but they make it 4-1.
Yeah, they've not been brilliant, Forest. I don't think that's unfair to say, but they have taken their chances. 10 efforts, 4 of them have been on target, and guess what? They scored them all. Yeah. It's a tough world, the Premier League, isn't it? Burnley haven't necessarily played poorly, but 4-1's pretty much fair just for the attacking quality Forest have shown.
Yeah, it is. And Igor Jesus just driving through on goal, and I think we've learned a lot about almost their mentality today, Nottingham Forest, that when the going got tough going into half-time, they've almost not gone into the changing rooms at half-time and crumbled, have they? They've come out, they've showed real solidarity together to turn it round. Yes, Burnley have been poor. Yes, they're against Burnley, but they've got that 4th goal. Vitor Pereira barely celebrates that one, but Morgan Gibbs White does.
And it's a huge boost for their goal difference now as well, isn't it? And that, with it being so tight, that could be a big deal come the end of the season.
Yeah, it really could. Nottingham Forest being on a -9, Tottenham -11. So a really big moment, we presume. That's probably going to be that. And it is the full-time whistle has been blown at the City Ground, thanks to goals from Morgan Gibbs White and Igor Jesus. They run out as winners at the City Ground. It finishes Nottingham Forest 4, Burnley 1. Thank you for joining.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck! Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or